Battle through the firmament. Great world. Chapter 413. Various forces had arrived. The next day, when the morning sunlight entered Xiaoyan's room, the latter's expression suddenly changed. His closed eyes quickly opened. He opened the door and rushed out, looking outside through the window. Outside the room, aside from Su Jiang and Xing Chanyu whom he had seen that day, there was also a beautiful woman in an elegant palace dress, her entire body exuding a mature charm. On the other side stood an old man with white hair and a youthful face. All four of them were looking in the direction of Star Moon Town without exception. Xiaoyan swept his gaze across the four of them and looked into the distance with a shocked expression. Under his soul power, several shocking auras were slowly approaching like a storm. As he pondered, a flame flashed across his eyes. Xiaoyan finally saw the scene in the distance. On the surface of the ocean not far from Star Moon Island, dozens of huge warships were approaching at high speed. Each warship had a different style, but without exception, they were all incomparably luxurious. On the ships were all kinds of strange patterns, as if they were ancient artifacts. Swoosh! Dozens of warships broke through the sky and arrived. In a moment, under the gaze of countless people from Star Moon Town, all the warships slowly stopped near the island. Not far from where the warships landed, including Old Man Chang, a total of 5 people stood quietly, waiting for the people on the warships to disembark. Among the 5 was the robust old man who had seen through Xiaoyan's 3 types of monic flame. The heavenly Yuan gate of the Mingyan divine domain. Lightning cloud valley from the star domain. The myriad sword sect from the battle domain is here as well. Looking at the descending warships, the 5 of them had burning eyes. From the appearance of the warships, they could tell which force each belonged to. The 4 academies competition in the star field held some reputation throughout the entire great world. Every time the competition was held, many forces would gather here to select the best students to recruit and strengthen their own sects. Crack! As the 5 of them conversed softly, the cabin doors of the dozens of warships slowly opened. Then, many people walked out. These individuals were all important and powerful figures from various sects. They represented their respective sects and held the greatest decision-making power. When they took a liking to a student in the competition, they needed to negotiate with the academy that the student belonged to before they could take him away. This was also the reason why all the academies vigorously fostered outstanding students. The students they took away were required to serve the sect they joined for 2 years. After 2 years, they would regain their freedom. Everyone emerged from their respective warships. Upon seeing the 5 people standing in the distance, they all went up to greet them. They had been briefed before arriving. They must not underestimate any elder on Star Moon Island, otherwise, they wouldn't even know how they died. This is Star Moon Island. Stepping onto the land of Star Moon Island, a young man in blue clothes murmured softly. He raised his head and looked calmly at the town in the distance. The young man had a handsome face and a heroic aura. His black hair was thick, and there was an unruly smile on his face. Ha ha, Yuan, the scenery here isn't bad, right? I was thinking that when I get old and can't walk anymore, I'll come here and enjoy the rest of my life. When that time comes, visit me with good wine and good meat. Next to the youth, a round old man laughed, his white beard trembling as he did. So, Heavenly Sovereign, let fate decide. Hearing the young man's words, the old man was obviously smiling from ear to ear. He patted his big belly and said emotionally, I don't know how many times I've been here. Although I didn't recruit a strong disciple for our sect, Yuan, your strength shouldn't be any weaker than any of the students in the academies. The youth lightly smiled, his eyes calm like water. Teacher is too kind. There are also many people with extraordinary talent in the academies. How can this disciple be compared to them? Sigh, teacher, I can't do much else, but my judgment of people is still very accurate. When old monster Wu sent you here, you were an imperial teacher. After so many years, you have already reached the Monic Emperor level. This kind of talent is considered the best in our sect. Furthermore, you broke through to the monarch emperor level with the fighting monarch of the lower realm. With this aptitude, who among these kids can compare with you? The old man shook his head and said with a smile, clearly very satisfied with the young man. The young man nodded silently upon hearing this. He didn't deny it. To be able to reach this level in such a short period of time was definitely worthy of his pride. It's almost time for you to break through to the emperor cultivation level. Although this heart, patting the young man's shoulder, the old man said in a pleasant tone. Thank you, teacher. An excitement finally flashed across the young man's calm eyes. He spoke in a deep voice. Let's not waste time with pleasantries. The old man patted the young man's shoulder firmly and said with great enthusiasm, this time, many big shots from the sects have come here. Teacher will show you some knowledge and experience. When you break through to the emperor cultivation level in the future, you'll have to deal with these major powers. It will all depend on teacher's arrangement. The young man nodded and looked at the elders of the major powers around him. There was no fear in his eyes. Brother Jiang, you're still in good health, I hope. We've come to bother you again. Dozens of people came to the front of the 5 men. A purple-robed middle-aged man with a thick beard walked out first. He cupped his hands towards old man Chang and spoke with a thunderous voice. This is an elder of the Heavenly Yuan sect from the Mingyan divine domain. His surname is Zhu. He was once the young marquis of an empire in the middle domain. Later, he cultivated in the Heavenly Yuan sect, and his strength increased tremendously. He is no weaker than me and is also known as the purple-robed marquis. Behind the crowd, a pot-bellied elder glanced at the middle-aged man and whispered to the youth beside him. Purple-robed marquis. The young man looked at the middle-aged man through the crowd, deeply imprinting his image in his mind, before nodding. As the middle-aged man spoke, the people around him, whether middle-aged or old, appeared exceptionally obedient in front of the old man. No one else knew about this old man Chang. They all knew that a few years ago, an order from the heavens appeared simultaneously before all the leaders of the various sects, designating old man Chang as the host of the 4 academies competition. From then on, everyone treated him with the utmost respect. Fortunately, I won't die just yet. Old man Chang narrowed his eyes and swept his gaze across the crowd. He said calmly, the 4 academies competition has existed for many years. It is a law set by the protectors. We are merely executing it on your behalf. There is no need for such formalities. Since all of you have arrived, you should rest for a day. Tomorrow, I will introduce the rules of this competition to all of you and to all the students. After a pause, the old man spoke in a clear voice. All of you have come here on behalf of your sects. Since you have come, I hope you will abide by the rules of this place. Do not intrude into forbidden areas without permission, lest you offend the heavens. As he spoke, the elder pointed towards the sky, his face expressionless. That is only natural. Seeing this, everyone hurriedly expressed their stance, forcing all kinds of smiles onto their faces. In these coming days, all the inns in Star Moon Town will be open to all of you. The only thing you need to pay attention to is not to meet any of the students in advance. At the same time, we will also instruct the leaders of the student groups to ensure their students do not come out again. The old man's face was cold. Facing dozens of Emperor cultivation level warriors, he showed no sign of being intimidated. We understand that as well. Facing the old man's cold command, none of them showed the slightest temper. Since that's the case, please come. After saying those words, old man Chang waved his hand and turned around to leave. Behind him, the robust old man glanced indifferently at everyone before turning to leave. When the others saw this, they hurriedly followed. A trace of bewilderment flashed across the eyes of the young man beside the fat old man. He looked towards the direction of the wooden houses behind Star Moon Town. Naturally, he was extremely curious about these so-called genius students. With this thought in mind, The young man followed the old man with big strides. Chapter end. Please guys like, comment, share, and subscribe.